There is a Japanese urban legend called the Cowhead Story. The name might sound kind of strange or even funny, but the urban legend has a very sinister background story. The most sinister thing about the story is that the story is so scary and so haunted that no one can ever tell it without dying. The legend talks about the story, which is basically a group of students, one by one, that notice that their teacher is becoming more and more involved in the story and living it. After a while, the students are screaming for him to stop. The worst thing is, he can't. A while later, police find the bus in a ditch, which is all of the passengers foaming at the mouth, and legend has it they were in some sort of trance. The police shook them awake, and when the police asked them what happened, no one could remember how they ended up there. The Cowhead Story has no recollection of it. Some theories might pop up every so often, but maybe there are no solid conclusions because of the one thing that might stop people from telling the story, and that is the story is so scary and so haunted that no one can ever tell it without dying. I didn't want to say this, and I'm not using my face just in case I might get haunted by whatever legend it is. But when I first told the story of it, there was some weird kind of old video popped up when I was animating it as if mocking me. It was my voice speaking, saying, "You won't be able to put this on, but I will put it on YouTube for you." I was wondering what it is, and what it was. It kinda creeped me out. It was almost as if it happened because I was telling you the story. I felt like, and I still feel like, even after me deleting it, that I am haunted now. What? Susie was feeling down as she had no cell phone for a whole 3 days. That might not be a long time to most people, but to Susie it felt like a whole month. She missed being able to scroll down news feeds and swiping through pics, etc. on social media. She knew it would take her a long time to save up for a new phone, so she decided to go into the local pawn shop to see could she pick up a second-hand one. She settled on a cool new looking phone and paid her money and walked home. She couldn't wait till she got home to check it out, so she turned her phone on and was surprised a logo popped up on the screen right away. It was a circle with W in it. She just assumed it was some sort of app, so she clicked on it. That night she was sitting down watching TV, enjoying a good thriller movie, when her phone screen lit up. She checked to see what the notification was. She dropped her phone from her hand when she saw what she couldn't understand. It looked like a very pale woman's face came very close to the screen, and there was an awful sound came from her phone. She put the phone down again and continued to watch the movie. Suddenly it lit up again. This time she was hesitant in looking to see what it was, but when she did, the W logo popped up on the screen again. She tried to go into it, but when she did, it said, "We are currently in private beta. Please enter password if you have one." I realized by looking at the top of the screen it was an app called Whoop. I checked the Google store to see was the app there, but there was no sign of it. I was going to go back to watching the movie, but I decided to Google Whoop app. I was shocked when I read what came up. It said, Whoop is a musical and social media app that was under development. The creator, Sarah Bell, and sole owner, was violently killed on Friday night while going for what seemed like her nightly walk. No suspects are being questioned at the moment, and there is no motive. The homicide is still under investigation. What I saw underneath the article sent shivers up my spine. It was a photo of a woman that looked exactly like the woman that popped up on my screen earlier. I went into her photo gallery and panicked when I saw many photos of the woman who was murdered. I turned off the phone, wondering what was happening and what exactly was that short little video I saw. I knew it was her, but was it actually a video of her being murdered? And why did it pop up in the phone when I didn't even touch it? I jumped in my seat when I saw my phone light up again. I panicked big time this time, knowing I had just turned the phone off. I was reluctant picking up the phone, but when I did, the words, "Be careful," were on the screen. Then as soon as I saw them, they had disappeared. I heard a noise at the door and thought it was my mind playing tricks on me until I heard footsteps. I knew now there was someone in my house with me. I felt a freezing shiver run up my spine, and a lightheadedness with a mixture of fear and panic consume me. Suddenly a figure appeared in my room. I was expecting to see the woman who got killed standing there, but it was a man. The man spoke. "Well now there, don't be frightened. I had to kill that bitch because she stole my unique software for her app. You see, I was her partner before she got greedy and wanted to take full control of the app. You might wonder why I'm here and how I found you. Well, you can thank the wonder of technology and those great Find My Phone apps. I was just on my way to the pawn shop today when I realized someone had bought it. It made things so much more awkward for me, knowing that I will have to kill another person this time, a person I don't even know, to retrieve the phone. You know that if they got this phone, well then they would get me as the killer. You might ask why I didn't take the phone with me that night. Would you believe I took her damn wallet thinking it was her phone? But then again, maybe that made the cops think it was some random robbery. I froze in fear, wondering what he was going to do to me. Suddenly the phone made a sound, as if I got a new message. Then the screen burst into pieces, and a piece of glass stuck in the man's eye. Blood came squirting out. Then a hand came out of the screen and choked him to death. Thanks for coming along to another session, Mike. I wanted to speak to you about what is really getting under your skin today. I am going to try to get to the bottom of whatever it is, and we will be able to speak about whatever is bothering you and try to find out what the biggest fear you have or the biggest worry. We will really dig into your psyche and try to uncover secrets to make you feel much better in whatever you're going through and whatever is worrying you, whether it's worry over money or relationship or guilt. Are you feeling comfortable? Is there anything I can get you? A glass of water? Maybe another cup of coffee? Yep, a cup of coffee would be great, please, thanks. Joe made some coffee and laid the cup on the table in front of Mike. Mike took a drink of coffee and then relaxed in his seat for his counselling session. So Mike, first I want to ask you, what do you think is making you feel uncomfortable this month? Well, to be honest, I feel like I'm trying my best to better my life, in work etc. And I'm putting my work before my home and my wife and kids etc. I mean, by the time I get home at night, my kids are already in bed, and I hardly ever take my wife out. Sometimes I feel like maybe if I made less money and had more time with my family, I would be so much happier. Well, Mike, I can see where you're coming from, but it's my job to make you unravel whatever is worrying you. So Mike, let's start at the start. You mentioned you're working too hard to spend time with your family. Could you explain more? Is that all it is? You working long hours to not spend time with your wife? Or is there something else? Well, yes, that's it basically, and I wish I had more time with my family to spend with my wife and kids. That is one of the main reasons I came to see a counsellor. Oh Mike, I'm glad you came to see a counsellor, as I will tell you what you should do. You should be honest with your wife and kids. You should be loyal. Mike was getting a bit anxious. Joe kept talking. See Mike, what good is it you coming to counselling if you don't take note of the counsellor? You shouldn't be disloyal now, should you? Joe looked confused and said, "That's okay, I just wanted to try it out as an experiment when you were so adamant you thought it would be a good idea to see what things would feel like if our roles were reversed. But I am your counsellor, so let's just keep it that way, please." Mike gave a sinister smile and said, "Oh no, but you see, Mr. Counsellor, I was enjoying playing the role of a counsellor because I was just getting to the root of your problem, which as a matter of fact I just found out last week from reading my wife's text messages is my problem also." Joe stood up and said, "Mike, our session is over, and to be honest, I'm sorry, but I think you might have to get a different counsellor." Mike said, "No, Mr. Counsellor, I have finally discovered how to ease my pain. See, now that I know that you are having an affair with my wife, I just need to make that stop." Mike pulled out a gun and pointed it to Joe. Joe jumped in fright and said, "Mike, I'm so sorry. I will never see your wife again. Trust me, you have to trust me." Mike said, "Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? You always used to tell me, trust my wife, when I told you I was worried she was cheating. Well, I can't trust her, can I? And I shouldn't, should I? So I need to get rid of the problem. I need to get rid of you." Mike shot his counsellor in his head.